Hey everybody, welcome to the Outdoor Line Podcast. We are in eastern Colorado with Max. I decided to come back out here and try to fill my archery tag that we didn't get filled in October. Come back out for a few days. It's late season. It's the rut. Things are different right now than what we're used to like in October, and so I was kind of looking forward to that, just the different style of hunting right now than what we usually experience. Been coming out here for 6 years, and like this week's just been different than any other time for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, so I got out here like early afternoon on kind of the first day and just did some scouting, driving around looking for deer. And I only saw one little like 2-point right at dark.
Mm-hmm.
He had a broken ear. It's kind of funny, just real droopy on one side. And that'll
Mule deer.
Yeah, mule deer. That'll be important later, I guess, in the story. But
Because where we hunt, there's mule deer and whitetail, right?
Yeah.
Usually,
We
say it's 80% mule deer. Would you say?
yeah, or more, maybe
Yeah.
90% mule deer. Like we just don't see a lot of whitetails.
Yeah.
Whitetail bucks. We always see a few does here and there, but we just rarely see a whitetail buck.
Yeah.
But usually mule deer, and that's usually what we're after anyway. But yeah, so first day I didn't really see much, right? Or that first half day of scouting, just didn't see a lot. So the next morning, me and Max start out at daylight. They were calling for 35-mile-an-hour wind that day,
And
with 50-mile-an-hour gusts, and it was like 23 degrees or 25 degrees.
the high was like high
cloudy.
20s.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, getting out of the truck was miserable.
Yeah.
So,
like midnight, that wind hit, and you could just hear it howling all night. And for deer hunting, I mean, they usually don't like wind, right? They just lay low. So I was a little bit worried about that.
yeah, but it helps stalking though. Like you
Yeah.
want good wind to put a stalk on one, it just makes things easier. But you got to be able to find them, which you got to have them stay on their feet to get one spotted, and then make a move on it once the wind picks up. But
Yep.
so we were a little nervous about that. We really hoped, I hope we can get on a stalk today, because like the conditions are good to put a stalk on one. First spot we checked, we run into a whitetail buck, 2 whitetail bucks actually, a decent one,
Yep.
and a little small one, and he looked heavy. He was like a 7 or an 8 pointer. We weren't sure. Kind of heavy, kind of neat, but like this is the first morning. Planning to be here for 4 days, so we didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to him. Moved on, like looking for other stuff, Then we drove by that homestead.
Yep.
And a place we've seen deer before, not a lot, but occasionally. Some like CRP, real tall, brushy grass stuff.
Just, in an old abandoned homestead right next to the main road.
Yep. And for some reason, you like were driving down the road and turned back and looked with your binos. Like we'd already went past the place, and you like looked back out your window with your binos, and were like, "Oh, buck!" Just like just caught a glimpse of him.
It was weird because I just had the thought to look back and we looked over it good, I thought. We just looked back and glassed back at it, driving away, which you shouldn't glass while you drive. But I looked back quick and just saw, I don't remember, I think I saw like the top of his forks, and I don't even think I saw his head. I just saw like antlers moving. I'm like, there's a buck in there.
Like your initial reaction was like, he's got forks, had some decent mass.
Yeah.
Like probably
white
a shooter.
horn.
Like probably a shooter for me at this point in the season. And
you already made it clear you were not being picky on this
I
trip.
wasn't looking for a booner or anything. So anyway, we pull off and glass from like right there. Really, we got away a little bit and couldn't find him. Like just disappeared.
Yeah, because where he was is just this 4 foot tall weed row, just a real long weed row, goes the length of the field, and he was in the middle of it, just kind of moving. So we went back to glass it. Well, at that point, had you got out of the truck and went?
Yeah, so like we
Climbed
pulled
off.
over first and couldn't see him, just from where we were. I was like, well, let's just drive up there and Maybe he's real visible. Maybe he's bedded down somewhere. So we pull in this homestead lot and decide that I'm going to get out of the truck and go looking. And, like, it's brutally cold, like miserable. I bundled up, stocking hat, face mask, hand warmers, gloves, like just awful. And the wind's just ripping. And we decide I'm going to walk in there and see if I can't find him. There's like 2 fence rows that are got some real good cover in them that we assume he's in. But I get in there, I climbed up on an old piece of equipment actually and kind of got like 10 foot up in the air. Kind of had some advantage there to look around, and I glassed and I got down and I like walked it all out. Like, the wind was blowing so loud, I honestly thought I was going to like step on one. Like, not, like 10 feet. I was afraid I'd bump one like real close, but I tried to be careful and I walked out this spot that we thought he was in and never saw him. So quickly got back in the truck to warm back up because it was pretty miserable. From there, we left and we went back over to the area that we saw that whitetail in. And just
when we found him that morning, he was kind of moving north. Looked like he was on a trail of a doe or something.
Yeah, like he was cruising. Like he was just like rut activity.
Didn't really care about us, pay much attention. Like he was kind of...
Yeah, he saw the truck, never put his tail up, just kept moving, kept going.
And we kind of saw where he worked off, like northeast side of that field, kind of worked to the north.
Yeah, so the wind was out of the north that day. So we started on the south end of this big field he was in, crop field, and just wanted to get in and kind of look at the back side of it that you can't see it from the road. And we hadn't got very far from the truck. I'm like, oh, hey, there's a buck. And it was this whitetail. And this was the closest we'd been to him. And he looked pretty good walking away. I was like, you know what? I'd probably shoot him. Like, he was heavy. We could tell he was heavy and like ear wide maybe.
Yeah.
He was pretty wide. Of course, they always look bigger walking away. But
he was just kind of nose down. He was, a mile from where we saw him that morning?
Yeah, he'd moved quite a bit. Yeah, he was still just like cruising, like just looking. And we watched him go up this hill and he bumps into a doe that's bedded up there. And he kind of pushes her around just a little bit in some tall weeds, again, like 3 or 4 foot weeds. And as soon as they go over the hill, I'm like, let's get up there. And we hustled and got right up there close to him. We peek up over this weed row and he's at like 70 yards. Like I could see his horns. I'm like, dude, this is perfect. And
I didn't have the decoy.
Yeah, we forgot the decoy. We've got some 2D silhouette decoys that are good to use this time of year, and we forgot them. But anyway, we sneak on up. I pop up. We're like 50 yards. I'm like, all right, let's keep pushing. Like, the wind's howling. They can't hear us, And we sneak up, and I think we're at like 35 or 40 yards probably. And I like kind of dive into this heavy weed row that's real thick. Just kind of push my way into it. And I think, I don't know, the weeds were pretty thick. Maybe I was being a little too aggressive, but he heard me. And like the next time I looked, he was just looking at me or looking in my direction. Of course, then I think he saw the top of my head and just wondered what I was. So I kind of got ready just in case something happened, and I was hoping he'd calm down. But after a few minutes, he was still locked onto me, and then he started walking right at me. I was like, oh boy, this might happen right now. And so like I stayed hunkered down in the weeds and I drew down real low. Like he didn't see me draw or nothing, but I'm just watching it with my eyes. And he come to 20 yards, I'm sure. And just, all I can see is his head and up. Like I can't even see neck. Like that's just how tall the weeds are. And like I know I'm going to have to probably stand up, at least raise up to my knees, if not stand all the way up to get a shot off. And what I needed to do was turn and walk away, just take his time walking away or be distracted long enough for me to stand up and get a shot. But he didn't. He busted out of there, just decided he was leaving, and he was out of there. And that was cool. Like,
yeah,
he wasn't huge, but he was heavy. Like, he was a neat deer.
Like, perfect scenario. If he was broadside at 20, you probably would have shot him. But
yeah, absolutely. I wasn't going to risk nothing.
It's not
or
like
push
crazy.
It.
Yeah, it's not a big loss.
Yeah, first morning. Anyway, so What did we do then? So we left there, didn't find any more deer in there. I guess I skipped earlier in the morning. We had found this muley buck bedded by himself out in this CRP field, and we decided it's probably the same buck I'd seen the night before when I was scouting. Like, he just kind of looked like that. He's not a giant, but he looked a little more framey than he did the night before. So I wondered if I'd looked at him wrong. So after this whitetail deal, I'm like, let's go find that buck. Like, I want to get a closer look at him. It's like, let's sneak into under 200 yards and get a better look, see what he really is. So we spot him. He's laying in the exact same spot. I get clear around on the other side of him, and I start walking in there, and I quickly spot him and like 2 does with him standing up. I'm like, well, that's weird. He was by himself, I thought. But anyway, I kind of pretty aggressively pushed in there and got to like this spot. I'd picked out this log. I'm like, I want to get to that log and stop. And I was probably 350 from him. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, man, like this is definitely the buck I saw the night before. Like broken ear, I could see that. But something just didn't feel right, like that I was in the right spot. And I look to my left, like 90 degrees to my left, and I see horns. And like that was the buck I was supposed to be going after. I ranged him, he was 190 yards to my left. I could just see the antler tip sticking up. And I glassed him there. Of course, that was the closest I'd been. I'm like, yeah, I'll shoot that deer. Like, he was big framed. He was broken. He was a,
3x3?
Yeah,
But
he would have been a 3x3, but he broke his G2 and his main beam off, I think, on his right side or something like that.
He was beat up, yeah.
So he's a 3x2 right now, but pretty framey, not real heavy. And so I had to backtrack, and I had to give him my wind, but I backtracked quite a bit, so it was like 300 yards. Got around him, and I was kind of aggressively pushing in on him. It's also like getting later in the evening, like there wasn't a ton of time left. The wind usually dies down right at dark, so like that was in the back of my mind too. And
it gets dark quick right now. Like,
yeah.
You look at the sun, you're like, oh, we've got an hour left, feels like, and 20 minutes later, it's almost dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got dark quick that night, and the wind died down.
Yeah, like
I was watching you, so you were down there alone in that bottom, and I was watching bird's eye from a distance. And yeah, I kept seeing you glass the wrong way. I'm like, why is he looking? I couldn't see those other deer. I just saw the buck you're supposed to be after, and then you were looking not at him. And then I saw you finally saw him, and the wind was completely wrong for this whole thing too, right?
Yeah, it wasn't real ideal. Like
there was just no play.
I was kind of going at it with a crosswind to keep the cover.
Yeah.
And I was easing in on him, walking in, and the wind had died down, and either it didn't register with me, or I remember trying to be quiet. Like I knew I was like, I'm under 150 right now. I need to be quiet. And I don't know. I looked up and he was looking at me. I think he'd heard me and just stood up and looked at me. And of course, that was the end of that.
Yep.
So we get back to the truck, and we got just a little bit of light left to drive around and see if we can't spot nothing. There's no time to make a play, but it's good to have some intel for the morning. And sure enough, that's when we spot this. We don't know what he was. We were 1,000 yards away, more
2,000.
Yeah,
3. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a mile away. And just like through the spotter, you could tell he was a shooter.
Yep.
Not like
mature body.
Yeah. So we took a video through the spotter actually, and in that video you can tell he's like big bodied. He was kind of narrow. He's like inside of his ears,
like right at his ears, and just like tall,
like straight up. Yeah, like 16 inches tall.
Something impressive.
Type frame. Yeah. And enough to see from 2,000 yards away or a mile away, however far we were.
Yeah, because that's something we've learned in past. Like, you spot a buck from that far away,
he's probably a shooter.
Yeah, if you can see horn that far away, they're usually something impressive.
It's well worth checking out. So that's kind of where we started our focus the next morning.
Yep. That was the end of day one.
Yeah. So the next morning, cold again.
Cold again, windy again.
I think it was supposed to be like 20 to 25 mile an hour winds the second day.
Cloudy.
And very cloudy.
Overcast.
Cold.
I thought for sure they'd be running around all day,
Yeah,
which we haven't experienced that at all.
I know. Yeah, the only true like rut activity I've seen was when I spooked that buck. I was just talking about that 3x2. He run to those other deer that I was originally stalking on accident, and when he got over there, that 2 point with the broken ear like postured up big time and like kind of pushed him away from his does. Like there was 2 does with him. Like that's about it. And that was cool to watch. Like it was cool to see that buck from I was 400 yards away, but he was all blowed up. His hair was stood up on his back.
That's
like,
cool.
It was really cool.
In the whitetail, we saw kind of
Oh
dogging
yeah,
those does.
yeah, cruising around, pushing that doe around. That's true. So yeah, day 2. It's cold. We start out trying to find a buck on their feet in this area where we saw this, what we think was a shooter right at dark the night before. We end up finding the same 2 bucks in this one CRP field that I had done the stalk on the day before, and we really didn't turn anything up. Like
slow mornings.
Yeah, like didn't see anything on their feet, right?
Didn't see the big buck that we saw the night before
Yeah.
anywhere. Like we scoured it pretty hard.
Yeah, and there are some areas where he was at that you can't see from the road. Like it's one of the tougher spots to see from the road. But anyway, we knew like, hey, this buck was in there the day before. We watched these other 2 bucks stay in the same place 2 or 3 days now. So we said, let's just get some boots on the ground and go check out this area where we saw this buck the night before. It was miserably cold. We bundled up. And it's kind of it's a CRP field with a ditch in it, right? This ditch is
Like a dried up creek bed that kind of
yeah, dried up creek bed's a good way to put it.
Well, like 3 trees, just
Yeah.
wide open, tall grass.
Yep. Yeah, kind of tall grass and like not up on top, but down in the ditch is where the cover's at. That's about it, really. So we had the wind in our face, and we start easing through this ditch. And we probably covered half of it. And we went through like a pretty thick spot, like by that one tree. And I wasn't discouraged, but like I was like, we're running out of territory here.
Yep.
And we kind of come around a corner, and I like stopped real quick. It ended up being a log, like up in the distance. Just a dark spot caught my eye though. And as we started to glass, and I glassed that log, Max said, "Dude, buck, big buck." And like right under this log, sure enough, you could see the frame of this buck in the tall weeds in this ditch. And what we were 150 yards.
Yeah, we got lucky because the log looked like, with your naked eye, the log looked like something that made us stop.
Yeah.
And I literally just brought my binos down a little bit, and there was just a frame of a sweet, heavy, something good buck.
Like his antlers were too hid to have stopped us.
Yeah, we
Like
would have busted him.
Yeah, run right into him maybe, or we'd have probably glassed before we got there, but he
Right.
may have saw us.
Yeah.
So we were pumped. Like we didn't get a great look at him. We're like, dude, that's a shooter for sure.
So I'd like to lead though with, it was freaking cold. Like I was cold as soon as I got out of the truck. I was already like, man, I hope I warm up as we walk. We walked a mile in there.
Yeah,
Maybe not that far, but
3/4.
And I'm like, of course we find a buck, and we're gonna have to sit here until he stands, and I have not enough clothes on. But yeah, we're pumped. We found that deer. He looked really good.
Yeah, and we know from the past that you could be on a stalk for hours, 4 hours maybe. Yep. And so
weren't super prepared.
I don't know that either of us were interested in being there for 4 hours. Like, just the way I was dressed, like walking and kind of just easing through this ditch, I was very comfortable. I don't think you were dressed quite warm enough. No. Like, I kept looking back, and Max was just shivering. I'm like, you good? He's like, yeah, dude, I'm great. I'm like, I don't know. But anyway, we start making stock on this deer. We instantly hit our hands and knees and start crawling. Every time I look back, Max's teeth are about to rattle out of his head. He's just shaking so bad, which he blames it on the adrenaline.
If I'm a little cold and I see a big buck, I get that little adrenaline and just cannot control
Yeah,
it.
that is a bad combination for shivering. Like it really ramps up the shivering.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure people can relate. Warms you up though when you're
yeah,
shaking that hard.
yeah, that's the point of
I
it.
told you I'm glad I'm not the shooter right now.
Well, yeah, like we got a little closer. He's like, dude, I'm glad I'm not shooting. I'm like, man, I'm calm. Like I'm not shaking at all. But anyway, we go to crawling, and like I said, the wind's blowing good, and there was just a little terrain between us that helped us. There were some good weeds that helped us. And we even got into some like short grass that was quiet for
Yep.
crawling. There was some stuff that was snappy and breaky and it was making noise, but a lot of it was quiet.
It's about as good as you can
Yeah, kind of
draw
like
up for a stalk.
textbook. Like this is perfect.
Yeah. You had to think it through and pick good lines to get to them, but
Yep.
they were there. It wasn't just like, oh, we have nothing to work with.
Yep. We were concerned that, or we assumed he had does
Yeah.
with him. I mean, it's the time of year that a good mature buck's going to have some does with him, and
Yep.
I just kept glassing, like looking for ears, like,
Yep.
because if there is a doe in there, you want to find her, because she's probably the one that's going to bust you, not
Yep.
the buck.
For sure.
But we weren't seeing a doe.
No.
We kept pushing forward, and
At this point too, I'm like, oh, this is the buck we spotted from 2,000 yards away the night before.
Yep.
Like this, he's tall, he's heavy, looks sweet.
Yep. We were sure this was him. Like,
Yep.
and so we keep pushing in, and the next thing you know, we range like, dude, we're at 60 yards, and then it's like, okay, we're at 50. Like, now we're like in range here. We had some brush in between us, and just the conditions were good, and we weren't seeing any does. I'm like, let's push closer, man.
Yep.
And we got to 40, and still we felt good, and there was about 5 more yards of like easy walk or easy crawling, quiet crawling. And so we went ahead and pushed up to there, and we were getting a range at 34 yards. And I mean, I was feeling great. Like, I wasn't even that cold. You were cold, but I just felt like we were in a pretty good position. The vegetation, like that was there, like that sunflower stuff, it's dried real hard. Like,
Yep.
I kind of had a narrow window to shoot through. We couldn't see his body. We could only see really his forks and up. If we really raised up, I could see his main beams. And every once in a while, he'd lay his head down and like, I don't know if he's sleeping or what, but
Yeah, I was most concerned with shooting lanes right there, because if he got up and walked right, we'd be perfect. I mean, but I kept thinking most likely what he's going to do is stand up, do a circle, and lay back down.
right.
And it could be 4 hours, and then he does that once, and then it's dark. Like,
Yeah, and then he could stand up closer to dark. But
so I was worried, and I'm like, Luke, well, how long did we sit there?
we probably,
You had one little lane, and you're like, I think it's good.
Yeah,
And
if-
I was like, we're
if
30.
his body was to the left,
Yeah.
like I said, we couldn't see his body, I felt good. If his body was to the right, I did not feel as good.
But I think we got into 34. The wind kind of died down. We're like, we just need to stay put. Like, we're risking
Yeah.
stuff at this point.
But I think we got impatient a little bit. Like, we were cold.
How long did we sit there?
I bet it was 45 minutes.
Okay. Felt like 3 hours.
Yeah, it felt like, and maybe it was an hour.
That was, yeah.
And we were on a slant too, like on this creek bank, and I was super uncomfortable, like sitting crouched down, knees tucked up under your ankles tucked up under your butt. I could do it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I gotta move.
Yep.
So I was kind of squirming around a lot and just trying to stretch my legs out. I got a pretty good cramp at one point.
I
but-
also had the decoy. We had
Yeah.
a decoy this time.
We had a doe decoy.
doe.
And I got to look in and like kind of leaning, looking at my shooting lance. I'm like, man, I think I could move down this slope just a little bit and would be in a better position. And Max like, yep, I support that. So I moved down there, and whether I had gotten impatient or I didn't wait for a good gust of wind or what, but in doing so, he heard me. He heard a twig snap or something. And he just like snapped his head over a little bit. Like I just could tell that he was hearing me. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, I better get ready kind of deal.
And you were not in a good, like, ready position. You were half moving.
No, yeah, like I was trying to
Legs
get into this
weird.
position.
And
But
I
so
saw his head, start to. I saw
yeah,
antlers looking at us.
yeah, his head come up just a little bit, like his antlers, like you could see all of his antlers then. And ideally, we'd have just stayed still and he'd have calmed back down and be like, "Oh, it was nothing," and forgot about it. That's what we'd hoped for. So like I had my release on my bow, but I wasn't thinking I'm gonna shoot right now. You had the decoy up.
I held it up when he did that, just because I'd rather him see those doe ears
Right.
than our heads.
Right.
So I was just holding it like that.
Yeah. And so then he like stretched his neck out and like he still bedded, but his whole head became visible,
Yep.
which was weird. Like he just like extended it out. And I mean, then he's looking at us, right?
Yep.
And you had the decoy, and that had him fixated. And in hindsight, I wish I'd have drawn right then. But for some reason, I didn't. I mean, he's looking right at us. And from the past, we try to not draw when a deer's looking at you. Like, it just usually doesn't work.
Yep.
We usually want them to focus on something else, then draw. But anyway, he raised his head up, and then just a few seconds later, he stood up. And so that's when I decided I need to draw, was once he was stood up. And I drew real slow, real carefully. And I've had a rough year this year, made a couple suboptimal shots.
Yep.
So like I was coaching myself through this one. I was like, take my time. And he was frontal, like he was facing us. His body was not turned how we thought. But at that range, shooting level, I'm like, yeah, like I'll shoot him frontal. And especially with the arrow broadhead setup I've got. And so I was drawn, and like my pin hovered over him once, and hovered over him a second time, and like the third time I really settled in. And like both times I went over him, I was like, take my time. And I like in my head decided, okay, I'm shooting, and like squeeze the trigger, and just a split second before I was squeezing the trigger, he spun and bolted. And I may have said a few curse words like before the arrow even got there, because I just knew like I had committed too far to not shoot, I guess, right? Like
I had covered my face with the decoy. When I saw him stand, I just completely, I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your sight of your bow and your trigger finger. I see you squeeze, and I hear the arrow, flying, and I hear you say, and then nothing, and I'm like, crap,
Yeah. Like, so you didn't see what happened, but
No,
what I saw was
you just wheeled.
right as I pulled the trigger, he busted, like worse than jumping the string, right? And so he kind of dropped and spun out of the way, and I mean my arrow just sailed right where he was. Like I think it would have connected. Literally just 1 second too. I was 1 second too late, or he was 1 second too early, however you want to put it. And it was interesting. Once he stood up and we did look at him, he wasn't as big as we thought.
No.
The whole time, all I could see was his G2 on his left side, and it's like real bladed. And it was just like, that's awesome.
Dark color, heavy looking.
And he was pretty heavy, but he was inside his ears.
Compact.
And he was a 3x4?
Young buck, yeah.
4 on the right side, 3 on the left. And like I was kind of bummed out, but it was nobody's fault. Like he needed to give us another second.
Yep.
And he wasn't a slammer like kind of we thought, really. So again, like not a huge loss. Like, yeah, it was a nice buck, and I'd been very tickled with him, but that's okay. Like we think there's more bucks around. There should be.
And at this point, I was like, that's not the same deer we saw last night.
Yeah. And so we booked it back to the truck to warm up. That's what we did.
Yeah.
We just hightailed it back to the truck to get warmed up. And yeah, we got some video of him running away, and he'd stopped, and we got a good look at him, and we decided it wasn't the same deer. Like comparing the picture from the night before to that deer, the night before the deer was bigger.
Yeah.
Just had a different shape to him. So So that was promising too, knowing that, hey, this
Yeah.
other big buck was in there the night before, so he could still be in there.
So let's talk about where he went after the shot, where we saw him. Like, he didn't spook bad. He didn't just take off.
he run 150 yards and like stopped
Mm-hmm.
and kind of looked back. Like he really didn't know what happened, which was good. I mean, that's better than him leaving the country.
But then he went down into that. The dry creek kind of does a switchback thing. And he went down into that is where we last saw him. And we'd walked past that to get to him.
Yeah.
So he's kind of downwind of us there.
But we didn't see him come out of it
No.
either.
Yeah.
And then you were glassing it.
I got up high to try and see if some elevation I
Yeah.
could glass there.
And that's
See
when
better?
you thought you saw another buck.
Yeah, and then I saw, antlers moving. That's all I could see is some antler tips moving. And the rack was real white. And at first I was like, is that like a forky muley? Like, what? Must be another deer in there we missed.
Yeah, but your instinct was like, that's not the same deer.
Not the same deer.
We just spooked into there.
Yeah. I'm guessing the deer we spooked into there, this other one probably heard the commotion, was looking around.
Yep. Stood up, rebedded,
Yep.
whatever.
But the weeds in there are like 6 foot.
Yes, they're real
Just-
tall. So they could disappear pretty quick in that
Yeah.
one little spot. But that was good knowing that, like, hey, this buck we just spooked, he might bed down right back in this little area, and or there's possibly another deer in there. So we go back to the truck, warmed up. You relayered.
Yep.
Got another layer on.
Got some food.
Ate some lunch. And then we decided to go right back in there and just kind of do the same thing, like walk this ditch out and walk the cover out.
As far as we know, he's still in that spot we lost him. Like,
Yep.
he could still be there.
Yep. So we like just started. Like we just kind of got in there to where we wanted to. And you decided you were going to stay back just on this little knob and like have the decoy there ready. And this worked so perfectly. And I start walking this ditch out, and I hadn't made it 10 yards, 15 yards. And I look up, and all I see is antlers in front of me at like under 20 yards. Like I can't even see his head because the weeds are so tall, but I can see a tine and a main beam sticking up. And I get to looking at it, and I'm like, well, he's broke off or something. Like it's a half rack. And so I'm like, I'm not going to shoot him. Whatever it is. I'm thinking it's a half rack muley, all busted up. And you saw it happen.
Yeah.
Like, what'd you see? I guess
I was a
from your
little
perspective?
higher. You were in the wide open in the bottom. He was a little bit higher than you, and it
Yeah.
was just 6 foot tall weeds.
Yeah, he was looking down on me.
Yeah.
Could you see his whole body or just
No,
head?
just his. At first, I think all I could see is what you could see his antlers, but then, I mean, you could tell it. But yeah, you were frozen, and I could tell you guys were locked eyes.
Right.
So I put that decoy up and started waving it.
Yeah.
It's a full body doe, but like, I just want to get his attention. So I just held it up high, and I could see him kind of start to turn his head towards me.
Yeah. He like pretty quickly took his attention off of me and went to Max. And I thought, Max must have that decoy up because why is he not looking at me anymore? And he took a couple steps left and he hopped over a log. And like I could see he was big bodied. And again, I'm like, he's just a half rack. And like he's just a 2-point on that right side. And then he stops looking at Max again. And I could see his face then. And he's a whitetail. I'm like, oh, it's a whitetail. And I had a better look then. So like he was heavy. He had broken off a G2 on the good side. And all I had left was a base and a brow tine on the left side. It's kind of what it looked like.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't want to shoot him. Like he would have been a big deer, busted up, but I'm like, I'm not going to shoot him, I guess. And he took a few more steps, and had I decided I wanted to shoot him, I could have drilled him. I mean, he was probably 15 yards, walking at Max, past me. And I was in the wide open, and he became into the open, like it was a chip shot. And he pretty quickly like spotted my shape, and it kind of startled him, and he looked at me, and then he took like a step towards me, and it's like, oh, wait a second, that's not a deer. And that's when he bounded off.
Mm-hmm.
And you got some cool video of him running away.
Yeah.
and I'm thankful you did because like it was cool to review that, like
Yeah.
to see what exactly he was.
So at that point, I was like, oh, that's a big whitetail. Like, obviously, yeah, his half rack broke off, and I'm like, holy crap, he's heavy, big body, mature. Looked like one of his eyes were gouged out. I don't think it was, but just could tell he's all beat up. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Luke must have not had a shot, Come to find out, you passed him.
Yeah, we get back. He's like, couldn't shoot him. I'm like, oh, no, I could have drilled him. You're like, what? I'm like, man, I don't know. He was real broke up. Like, he's a bruiser, but again, this is just day 2.
Yep.
Planning on two or three more days of
Yep.
hunting. And so either way, I passed him. He run off. Got downwind of us. We kind of lost sight of him. I don't really know what he did.
I don't know what he did.
But anyway, it was a cool experience, and the whole time I'm questioning, like, should I have shot him or not? I don't know. Shortly after, we realized that that's the buck that you videoed this summer.
Yep. This summer, antelope scouting. No, yeah, I was hanging
it was
cameras
August
for antelope.
1st.
Yeah. So full velvet, red coats, spotted this buck and a doe running up this field 5 miles from the spot.
Yeah, 5 miles
the crow
away
flies.
from where we just saw him.
And I was like, holy crap, that's a giant whitetail. Just running away. I could see, it was real low light, so the video's not great, but you could see he's palmated, like just stupid heavy on his right side.
Yeah.
And then just the frame, of a world-class 8-point.
Yeah, just a big 8-pointer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after reviewing the footage, I was kind of right. Like, base and a brow tine on the left side, and on the right side, like Max said, he was palmated, but his G3 was broke off. So he just had his G2, the palmation, and then the main beam and a brow tine. But just a cool buck.
Oh, yeah.
And then that evening, so
I was giving you crap for not shooting.
Yeah, you were like, dude, that's a big whitetail. Like, yeah, he was a big whitetail.
Because the thing too about here, it's not like Missouri where, okay, this buck's all beat up. It's late season. If you pass him, you're probably going to see him next year. That doesn't happen out here.
Right. Like at home at Missouri, like the way that a deer saves his own life is like to bust himself up like that. Like ideally, no one's going to shoot a half rack or whatever, and that's just a you get to live the next year pass. Yeah. And it's good to see. Like if I got a small buck that I want to see go a year, I can't wait. Like I'm happy to see he's broke up. But out here, yeah, like we rarely see the same deer twice.
Like my deer this year was the exception.
Yeah, your deer this year was the first one we've seen year to year.
There's been many years, you see like an up-and-comer buck, and you're like, oh man, he's got some unique trait. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to see him next year. Never see him again.
Yeah, and we've passed some deer too that was like borderline, but it's like, oh man, what could he be? So we passed him, but anyway, so yeah, the whole time we're like, yeah, he'd probably be bigger next year or same size or be a full rack, but we'll probably never see him, right? So I don't know. The whole time I'm questioning myself. Anyway, we scouted the rest of that night. We tried some new areas, didn't work, didn't see any deer.
Yeah.
Woke up this morning with snow on the ground.
Yep.
Just a light dusting.
Clear skies. Light dusting on the ground.
Clear skies, 11 degrees, I think it was when we left, or 10 degrees. And we kind of started in the same area, like thinking we're going to turn this big buck up we saw the other evening. And we really didn't see anything. Saw some does here and there, a little forky somewhere. And we drove a lot this morning. And we did find a buck that on a place that we can't hunt. A couple bucks and a doe, like a pretty nice buck.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have mattered if we could have hunted. There really was no play on those deer, I don't think.
Yeah.
They just weren't in a very good spot. But it was good to see buck in the area, I guess. One we'd never seen before. And then, what did we do?
It was midday. It was like 11 by then, and we're like, let's go start getting creative.
Yeah, look at some stuff we haven't seen before. Yep. We turned down this one dead-end road that we've never been down.
Yeah.
And we get down to the end of it, and there's prairie dogs everywhere. And we're like, man, I didn't know these were here. And we're gawking at these prairie dogs, and I think we're turning around. I was like, whoa, 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 deer, 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 shooter. And I assume it's a mile from the road where we were. So they were probably every bit of 3/4 of a mile away.
Yep.
And like a big herd of deer. And so we grabbed the spotter, got it out, and like for sure a shooter in there. And 2 smaller bucks and like 6 does or something like that. So we ended up driving back around the other side because they were actually closer to the other road, and I think we had missed them somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
We were looking the other way or something, and really not expecting to see a deer.
Never seen deer right there.
Yeah. So we had missed them anyway. We drove back up just to get a different view on the situation and see where the cover was. And anyway, we went back to where we spotted them from, downwind side, and I went and put a stalk on it by myself. Took a decoy with me, doe decoy, and my bow, and had a real long walk, kind of out in the wide open. I was surprised I got there clean before I got to the cover. And then the cover was pretty rough. It's thick stuff. I crouch walked probably 150 yards, and then hands and knees crawled probably 100 plus yards. And then the last 50 yards was probably army crawling. Just, I lost cover, and it was just short, and just kind of what I had to do. But I don't know, there's like 6 does and 3 bucks bedded, and like this one buck's pretty nice. He was a 3x4, kind of framey, not real heavy. I don't think he was broke up though, which was nice to see. And
Also gave you the was it the doe heads up decoy?
Yeah, doe heads up decoy. So like, and it's on a stake.
Yep.
We've made it on a stake. So
Because I wasn't on the stalk with you. I was watching.
yeah,
from
you
a
were watching
distance.
from a distance. And so yeah, I'd keep creeping up, and like this buck's bedded. He's not paying any attention to anything but these does. He's looking right at them. And the does, of course, they're looking around. And these stalks with like that many deer are just tough. Like it's hard to get everything aligned. And just the way this cover was, and I was having an army crawl, like it took me a long time. It was like a 3-hour ordeal.
Yeah.
And most of that was me stalking,
Crawling.
like getting there. It was just a lot of work. Took a lot of time, but
You had to walk in a straight line for a while, right? Trying to
Yeah.
get to that little dirt mound.
yeah.
Just trying to use any cover you can because they were in the wide open, like any
Yeah, like-
angle you could see their heads.
Yeah, like these deer were bedded, and 2 does were standing, and I was walking right at them, and I covered 500 yards walking straight at them.
Which worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Sun wasn't to your back, which is good.
Yeah,
Walking straight at them, you don't have that side movement. You weren't skylined.
yeah. It was risky, but it was the only way it was going
Yeah.
to work. There was no other option. Like these deer were bedded in a fence row, CRP field that it was long as like barren, like there's not much cover at
Yeah.
all, and just the little bit of weeds in the fence row was the only cover. But yeah, so like hours into the stalk, I'm army crawling, and these deer are kind of getting up and shuffling around, and the bucks got up and moved and rebedded, and he actually got a little further away from me, and I lost a little ground on him, and I'm army crawling, and a doe had got up and kind of walked my direction. And I was at like 68 yards, I think, at this point. So I'm getting pretty close. And this doe, like, I don't know. I don't think she caught me moving. I think she just saw my silhouette. I might have been on my hands and knees at that point, but anyway, she spotted me, and I could tell she didn't like it. And she turned around and just walked away. And I lost sight of her because I was staying down, but I assumed what was happening. I was right. With like all the deer kind of got up then, and just they weren't sure what was going on, but they just kind of started moseying away, and that was basically the end of it. You drove by at that point too, and like they were all on their feet. You got some video of that.
Yeah.
me in the background, just like, dang it.
Do you think the decoy helped?
I don't know.
It didn't bring them towards you, but
Yeah,
they didn't spook.
I didn't throw the decoy up
Oh, you didn't?
when she saw me. I didn't
Yeah.
try it. Like I was hoping that since it was just the one deer and like
Just
she
calm
wasn't
down.
focused on me very long, I was just hoping she'd calm down.
Yeah.
But didn't work. Buck got up and just kind of started following his does, and they worked off, and that was the end of that. But that was cool. It was fun. Like it was one of the harder ones I've ever been on, probably. Just like I was wore out.
Crawling.
A lot of crawling and through some nasty stuff. Like not just crawling through like a Milo field or something like we've done before. But like I was plowing over these hard weeds that like my knees are sore from doing it. But anyway, we got in the truck, and of course I'd been thinking about like what's our next move, and you obviously had too, and we both were kind of thinking, let's go back to that same draw where we bumped into them 2 bucks yesterday. So we did that. The wind was opposite today, so we had to start at the other end.
Which, again, we've glassed that draw every morning. Haven't seen a deer.
Yep. That's
so
right.
I'm going in it today like,
Yeah, like we're trying to be optimistic. Like, man, there could be something in here. But we might have missed it. They might have bedded down before daylight.
Yep.
Who knows? So we get in there.
And this time, actually, we accessed it from the opposite side because the wind was opposite today.
Wind was out north, so we come in from the south and
walked past the bed of the muley buck.
Yeah, we walked right through there where we'd had that encounter with the muley buck the day before. And I always think about this when doing a stalk like that. Like, if you think a deer's in there, like my anxiety gets a little higher and higher as we go. Like once we covered like 50% of it, I'm like, okay, well, if it's going to happen, it's going to be in the next 50%.
Yeah.
Like every step you take, your chances are increasing if you think there's a deer in there, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think the same way like whitetail hunting. Like
Closer
an
to
evening
dark.
sit, like the closer to dark I get, the more likelihood that something's going to happen.
Yep.
Just like that clock ticking makes me think like it's going to happen. But anyway, we're moving along, and I knew too, I checked the weather. We had like an hour of good wind left. It was going to die off, and these stalks are hard if you don't have any wind cover, especially in that weeds and stuff that we were in. But we're walking along. I asked Max to go in front of me because he had the decoy. We took the heads up buck decoy.
Yep.
It's a muley buck. And we're walking along this creek, and honestly, we got to this one spot, and we were kind of shrugging it off. And we were probably walking too fast, maybe not paying as much attention as we should have. I don't know. I was probably 5 feet behind you, and I just see you rip this decoy up and like kind of get down. And like, what? You just looked up and saw him?
Yeah. So I was focused more on like rounding the corner of that draw, and out of the corner of my eye, I just saw, a white rack, and he was only 30 yards away. And I was like, crap. And I instantly recognized him as that whitetail.
Yeah, same whitetail that I'd kind of passed the day before.
Did not expect him to be back.
Right.
Which you did.
Yeah, I kind of did. Like,
you saw lots of beds.
Yeah, where I jumped him, and then kind of in that area, there was like 5 big old beds. And I'm like, I bet this is just where he's been living, And
But we've never seen him unless we're in there in his business.
Yeah, he's never up right before dark or right at daylight because we've been there looking.
Nocturnal,
And another thing about like bedding, and I wouldn't say this is true for mule deer, but like at home, I think this can be true for whitetails. Is like if a bed works, if they're startled, they get up and they escape. Like that was a good bed. So like
they're gonna go back.
They come back to it because it worked. Like I wouldn't say that's the same for muleys. They're not local like that. Yeah, but that's a whitetail thing. Like there's been lots of cases of the same buck coming back to the bed. It may be 2 days later, but
and he moved beds. So to continue, he stood up. I don't know, 100 yards from where we saw him
the day before. Yeah.
So completely unexpected where he stood up. I've raised that decoy up, looked over at you.
And
you
like I didn't know where the deer was. I just saw you like kind of spaz out, not spaz out, but just react quickly to throwing the decoy up and kneeling down.
Yeah.
So I just followed suit, did the same thing, kneeled down, and just based on the way your decoy was pointed, I looked and like, yeah, they're towering over us. Like he was up
he was
on,
above us.
yeah, he was kind of up on the upper third of this creek bank, kind of,
Yeah.
and we were down in the bottom of the creek bank, really. And sure enough, like deja vu, same thing I saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Was just this half rack, big old head, kind of looking at us. And of course, I had my bow in my hand, and Max looked at me and goes, "Shoot him." I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay."
It was a question. Like,
Yeah.
Shoot
Later,
him?
Max says it was like a shoot him question mark. I took it as a shoot him, like that was a statement, like an order. Shoot this deer. And
I think you heard about it though. You're like, yeah.
oh yeah,
We're
well,
getting close to the
especially
end.
like I was thinking, yeah, we're getting down to the wire, and yeah, when you agreed, like when you said shoot him too, I was like, oh yeah, we're thinking the same thing here. And like, I like to know what deer I'm shooting. Like at home in Missouri, I like to have trail camera pictures. I like to see a deer, recognize it. I like to know everything about him before I shoot one. Like, there's not very many times that I'm shooting a buck that I've never seen before and
Yeah.
have to make that decision. That's a hard decision to make.
Yeah.
On a buck that you just, hey, you're looking at for 4 seconds. You want to
Yes.
shoot him or not?
Yes.
So that was kind of the experience with the whitetail the day before.
You didn't know.
I mean, my only thing I knew about him was what I was seeing right in front of me for just a few seconds. And after we had the video footage of him too, it was like you could tell he was just a brute. He was a warrior. He was busted up, scarred up, kind of like just definitely a mature deer.
Yeah.
And so anyway, now like we have this history of this deer. I know what he is, and we decide like, yeah, I'm shooting him. And I instantly thought he's 30 yards. Like right where he's standing is exactly 30 yards. Just that was my guess. And like that's what I'm going to shoot him for because I'm not taking the time to range. He's close enough that I just don't like 30 yards would be close enough. But luckily you grabbed your rangefinder and hit you said his horns.
Yep.
And you said he's 30 yards. I'm like, oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. So we kind of had some time. Like, I think the decoys distracted him enough.
Yeah, it did.
Where, I told him, I was like, yeah, do you want to shoot him? And then I got to range him, and I'm like 30 yards, and you're like, okay. And
I
it was
think
perfect. Like,
yeah.
right when all that got settled, you were ready. And
yeah, I don't know how I got an arrow in my bow though. Like
you were just
like
quick
that's some
about
pretty
it.
yeah.
It was like
I
automatic.
think as soon as you said shoot him, I was like reaching for it. And I was in the wide open, and like of course Max hiding behind this decoy, but I'm like, hey, don't forget about me. I'm
you
5 feet
were
away
5
from
feet
you,
to my left.
just in the wide open here. But he's looking at you. Like sure, I might look funny, but he's looking at this big buck standing here. And we've talked about this too. Like, unlike a mule deer, this buck, he's looking at the decoy, and he turned his head to the right and took like 4 steps. He picked his tail up too. I noticed he picked his tail up and kind of flickered it like something's not right here.
Yep.
And I say different than a mule deer because mule deer don't give you that opportunity. They don't walk. They don't take steps. They freeze and then they're gone. Like that's
And they just bound out of it.
Yeah,
and maybe they'll stop at 100 and
yes,
look back.
they bust out and will look back. But like this 2 days in a row now that this buck has like looked at us and then took a few steps and like took his eyes completely off of us.
Which is the wrong move for the deer.
For a couple killers. But anyway, so yeah, second he turned his head, I drew and stood up.
Because he was in tall shit again.
He was in very tall shit
You could
again.
only see his top,
Yeah, about his
head.
eyes up, you
Yep,
could see.
yep.
And with me standing up, and he just happened to step into a little bit more open stuff.
just like yesterday.
Yeah, and I could see, I would say, like mid-body, if you drew a line midway through his body horizontally and up. Like I could see that. And so I was comfortable shooting through a little bit of brush. It was right in front of him,
Yep.
And Was he even looking at us? I think he was. I think he took a few steps
Took a few steps, looked back, but you were at full draw.
and
by
looked
then.
back, and I was already standing at full draw when he looked back at us. And I again took my time and put that 30-yard pin on him and let it fly, and it looked good. Like I watched that arrow go into that little bit of brush, the weeds in front of him, and it was in the right spot. It sounded good. It popped good.
Yep.
And he did a big old mule kick.
Yep. Took off.
And I don't remember what was said, but we looked at each other.
Because he went over, we lost him.
Yeah, so like we're down in this dried creek bed, right? And he's kind of up on the edge. So in 10 yards, he's out of sight. And he takes off, and I just remember looking at each other, and then we just both took off running. Like,
to get eyes.
Yeah, just to try to get eyes on him. So we run up there, and I remember watching him run away, and it's like, he's just like the biggest body, like, doesn't look like a normal deer. I don't know what.
Just the way I describe it is like he looked run down, like, spine skinny, back legs are kind of smaller just from the rut. It's like he had all that extra skin, just kind of like.
Yeah, like his huge body and like all that skin. He looked unathletic to me.
Just
not a
old, wrinkly,
like not a fit, muscular, young specimen of a deer. Like worn down, rough and tough. Like just and like not running fast either. Like he doesn't. He can't run fast. Yeah.
Bounding and.
But we got up and I got glass on him and I didn't feel like I could see anything. I thought maybe I saw a spot, but like I didn't feel like I was seeing blood gushing out anywhere, or I didn't see an arrow hanging out of him. But it sure felt good, and both of our reactions were it sounded good.
Yeah.
So we high-fived, and we were pretty pumped. And we watched where he goes, and this ditch that we're in, this dry creek bed, it loops around, and he was headed for like another portion of that, and he goes down in that and never came out the other side. He could have got down in it and run along the ditch, and we wouldn't have seen him, but we didn't expect him to do that. We stood there and watched that ditch for probably 5 minutes, and he never come out of it, and we're both like, yeah, he's done down in there. I'm like, well, let's go look at my arrow just to make sure. Let's look for blood, just to see. Like, I want to give them some time. You can make a perfect shot, and they could still take a little while to expire. So it's always good to give them a little time. We go back, and we had a hard time finding my arrow.
Yeah.
Like we
buried in the dirt.
Yeah, we found his bed. We knew he took a few steps this way. I found the first blood. But yeah, we finally found the arrow, and it was buried pretty good in the dirt.
Like 15 yards behind where you hit him.
Blew through him and stuck in the bank behind him, and had blood on the fletchings. Not like absolutely soaked with blood, but it was good blood, good color blood. And so anyway, we were pumped. I felt really good about that. I found blood for like the first 10 yards or so. It'd probably been 30 minutes at this point.
Sun's setting, so I'm like, I want to use this daylight.
Yeah, like we know that the sun sets fast here, faster than we realize, and I kind of mentioned like, hey, let's get down in this ditch and let's act like we're stalking a deer. Like, let's sneak up through here and try to get eyes on him. I don't want to blood trail him and like pop into this ditch and he's there at 10 yards and he's still alive or something. But like with the conditions, we could maybe get another arrow in him if we had to, if the shot's not perfect or whatever. So that's what we do. And the wind died down. Like, I remember you pointed out, it's like, dude, it's a good thing that just happened because there's no wind now. Like we were running out of time to make a good stalk. So yeah, we get down in this ditch and start easing up there, and we went quite a ways.
Yeah, I was getting worried.
Yeah, I could tell you were. I had a idea in my head of where he ran to. I think your idea was a little closer than that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too worried. Like I'm thinking, yeah, it's still up here a ways, but wouldn't have hurt my feelings if it was closer and we'd have found him right away. But we eased up there, and I ended up spotting him just with my bare eyes. I saw his tine move in some grass, and what we were 80 yards, I think, is what we were when I first spotted him. And I was glassing him, and every once in a while, I like pick his head up and like kind of throw his head around. So like I knew he was hurting.
Yeah, it looked to me like, he'd nod off and then pick his head back up like
Yeah.
he's bleeding out. It's never a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, like you think you made a perfect shot, and you see videos all the time of deer running 50 yards out in the field and just piling up.
Yeah.
And, just expiring so fast. And like in my head, what I was thinking about was, he run in that ditch and just piled up down there, and he's just dead as can be.
Yep.
So anyway, we're like, what do you think? Should we just sit here and let him expire? I'm like, no, like let's finish him off. Like, we don't want him to suffer. We don't want it to last any longer. It has to. We don't want some freak thing to happen where he gets up and runs off.
Yep.
So we start moving a little closer and got a little aggressive to get up. Not aggressive, but just kind of quickly moved up there. And he tried to stand up a couple times. I don't know if that was just on his own or if he heard us coming. And he made it to his feet a couple times, but just instantly bedded back down. Yeah. And wanted to make a good shot, so we made it up to 30 yards, and I put another one through him. Yeah, just perfect. Absolutely perfect. And he didn't much.
Even flinch.
Yeah, he didn't try to get up again, nothing. But
took it and laid his head down and never moved again.
And that was it. Like, I mean, it was 30 seconds after that he was done moving. So, like, that was good. Had we waited an hour and went and looked for him, we'd have found him and he'd have been expired, I'm sure.
Yep.
But we were running out of daylight, and tracking deer in that grass is hard.
It is.
Like that just short
all
yellow grass, it blends in. And I will say, I'm shooting a fixed blade broadhead, and they don't make the biggest blood trails. No. They're meant to go through stuff and hit the things you're wanting to hit, but they don't. It's not like shooting a 2-blade rage that cuts a 3-inch hole in them and they just bleed everywhere. Like I've not experienced that. So just knowing that we don't have a great blood trail, or we may not have a great blood trail, like I'd rather just sneak up to him and find him. But anyway, he expired, and we got to put our hands on him, and he's giant.
Blew our mind.
Yeah, like huge body. So I'll throw some pictures up of him right now on the podcast if you're watching on YouTube. But so his right side's there. Like, we had the video of him, and I've kind of explained what he is already, but the palmation on that right side is crazy. Like, if that mass measurement would be counted, if he wasn't busted up, and if I was even going to score him, like, it'd be a 10-inch mass measurement just from the palmation. And just a warrior. He's heavy everywhere. His character, his brow tines are big. Huge head, huge body, huge neck. Like, his teeth seem to be pretty smooth. Like, I think he's definitely an older deer, like probably over 5 years old, I would guess. And just a brute. I mean, like, I've killed lots of big Missouri whitetails, and like, this deer, something was different. Like, just body size and age, definitely. Like, I've not ever killed a deer that old, I don't think. Just a warrior.
They're so cool.
Like, he's a warrior.
Get that old and
to be busted up like that, and the character. And like the day before, I was like, I don't want to shoot him, he's busted up, but he's a huge deer.
Yeah.
Like, that deer does not know that half of his racks broke off.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the same animal.
That's the same
challenge.
Animal. It's the same extremely mature whitetail, spot and stalk on the ground in Colorado, like, with the bow. Like, it's just awesome. Like,
it is,
super cool experience. Like I've had nothing but positive feelings since I've shot him, for sure.
Good.
Like very happy I shot him. Like, instantly it was like, made the right decision.
Awesome.
And especially put our hands on him. Like, just an awesome story. Like, passed him the day before, saw the video of him. Max has the video from the summer, and
he's always been since I saw him this summer. I've always been like, where's he at? I want to know more about this deer, and somehow found him. Turned him up in a random spot,
stumbled
5
into
miles
him.
away. And then we're talking about, it'd be cool if we stumbled upon his broke off side.
I'd love to see that broken off side, just to have that.
So he is.
Yeah, so like, if, like, if his G3 was there on the right side, and if you mirrored that side to the left, if you kept that palmation on the other side, he's over 150-inch 8-pointer for sure. Just with the mass, and I mean, he's not super long tines, but he's got long beams, he's got long brow tines, and that mass would just add up tremendously. Like, if he truly would get a 10-inch mass measurement, especially on both sides, like, I'd put him over 160, I'm sure, as an 8-pointer. I'm a little unclear how that rule works, if you call it a common base or, palmation or whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to score him because he's busted up, but such a warrior dude. Like like the top of his head is scarred up, like a lot of scar tissue and rough, and he's got holes in his neck that are all got like pus in them, and where he's been gored by other tines.
Just tore up.
And I've been constantly thinking about what broke him up like that. Like, he's just a massive deer. I don't know if, I've seen videos of deer, of whitetails fighting mule deer. I don't know if that's common, but if there's another whitetail around here that's
sizing him up.
Yeah, that's sizing him up.
Impressive.
Like, wow. That's like kicking his ass. Like, it's a
It's
big
not even
whitetail.
his antler size, It's just his body.
It's everything.
Yeah.
And like that, in my head, like we talked about the ratio, like 80 or 90% mule deer. Like, in my head, it's probably a big mule deer. Like, he probably
Seriously.
got in a fight with a huge mule deer, and mule deer probably kicked his ass. I mean, they're bigger bodied anyway.
Sure.
Like, they're similar bodied to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool buck, dude. Like,
So cool. Yeah.
no, I'm so excited. Like, been a rough year. Haven't
You
killed a
broke
buck yet.
Bad luck streak.
Yeah.
You needed that one under your belt for this year.
Made 2 perfect shots. That felt really good. And like, just to go on an out-of-state hunt too and be successful is fun. And like, this was a pretty good commitment to come back. Like, I'd never done this. Never.
How many stalks did you go on in 3 days?
Yeah, so I would say I had 6 opportunities, really.
Yeah.
Like, almost within bow range of 6 deer. It's full draw on that first whitetail. I shot and missed a mule deer the second day. I've had like adrenaline rush action every day.
Yeah.
Like, been absolutely fun. And we've kind of felt like, well, it's just not been as good. We're not finding much. We feel that way, but that's not the case.
Well, yeah, you compress all these stories into this conversation. It's like, wow, it's really good hunting.
Yeah.
But we cover so much country for these deer we find. Sometimes it feels like there's nothing out there.
Yeah, we put a lot of miles on your truck,
Yeah.
driving, looking, but we do that, but then I had over 6 miles walking the first 2 days and about 5 today, I think. Like, just it doesn't feel like that much, but we are. Like, we're covering that much ground and walking into places you can't see from the road. But yeah, dude, it's been fun. Like, more action packed than earlier in the year when we were out here.
For sure. Yeah.
More stalks, tougher conditions to do it.
Yep.
Bucks are with those or whatever.
You just see new bucks. Stuff you don't see early season.
Yeah, none of these bucks we saw early season.
No.
It's crazy how much they can travel, and I don't know that's like a migration, but it's
right.
These bucks probably have in their mind, like, during the rut I'm going to be here. Or
like 5 miles in the rut is nothing for them.
Yeah,
they'll do it.
They do that overnight. Yeah, I'm sure. So that's always in the back of our mind too. Like, sure, we walked this draw out last night, but Booner could roll in overnight. You just never know. So kind of keeps us going.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Cold sucks, but
I liked it. Like, you were miserable on that one stock, but like, I somehow layered well. Like, I wore my Under Armour 4.0 base layer. I wore a pair of Ariat work pants, tan work pants, and had 4 layers on, like, my chest, like Under Armour, a long sleeve shirt, a sweatshirt, and then my Badlands hoodie. And like, it's thin though. And I was very comfortable. Oh, and I wore my vest, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, just the constant moving, like walking around, stalking, like I was really comfortable. Now, if I'd have just been sitting for very many hours, I'd have been miserable.
It is fun because it's active too. You're moving a lot
Yep. It's busy. It's
versus
active.
sitting.
But yeah, it's been great. Like, yeah, I'm stoked. Like I didn't really know what to expect coming out this time of year. And I can't say that we experienced what I expected. We just didn't see a lot of rut activity.
Right.
Like this time of year last year, you were videoing 2 giant mule deer duke it out.
Yep. Even that might have been a week later last year.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, and they were 2 mature bucks fighting, for 20 does.
Right. And like we haven't seen those numbers or any action like
No.
that. But either way, like it's been target rich environment. Lots of bucks, small bucks. They were like, no, I'm not gonna go after him and stuff like that. So thanks for coming out here and helping me though.
Yeah.
Like this is like, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 days we spent out here this year.
Been a lot. Put a lot of miles down.
Your buck and
We
then
work for these deer.
yeah, that's for sure. Like it's not easy. Like it's a lot of work and like we're tired every day.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it, dude. Like
So worth it, yeah.
just the memories and yeah, get to take home this massive whitetail. Super excited.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I think that's it. So thanks everybody for listening and we'll see you on the next one.